Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to I've heard like our first official podcast back, I guess. Um, Welcome to Blerd Lines Podcast, everyone. Hope everyone is well. We are here today to discuss a few things, but before we do that, I'd like to talk about myself so much because I'm so great. But no, I want to go ahead and catch up with the team. As you can see, we got a new rotation. We got a rotating man in the team now. We got the young Charlie Wilson in the building. We got Lady going out.
Wait. Stop it. Talk about yourself some more.
Talk about myself some more. Okay.
God, niggas are petty,
That's
bro.
crazy.
Okay.
That's
Bad.
crazy.
Bad. So
Pause.
I like Greek food now. You know what I'm saying? Spicy yogurt is fire.
Spicy yogurt?
Yeah, bro. It's something decent. Okay.
Mm.
And then what else happened about for my life? Man, I had a hellified workout yesterday doing boxing.
Okay.
That shit was fire, bro. I went on like a 2 mile run. And I did like a solid upper body workout. I don't go to the gym right now during the summer. I like to really hurt myself out there because it's 100 fucking degrees, so it's demon time outside. Uh, we got Zayana. She's in the building. She's not my favorite person right now because she made fun of me in my pain. And then T Will was good, Brody. But yeah, I like talking about myself because it's what we do.
Before we go any further, Lady Gunner, you want to invite me to play a game with you and then not show up?
These niggas are petty today. What are y'all on today, bro?
Demon time.
What?
You
When did that happen?
Do you want to do it or not?
done froze.
Invite you.
You done froze. Done froze.
I froze. I don't want to do that. No.
You don't want to do that? Okay.
But anywho,
Well,
before
guys,
we
I'm looking at y'all, damn it. Okay. All right.
But nah, how's everyone doing today? I'm gonna address that woman. But how's everyone doing today? Hope everyone had a phenomenal week. You was able to reach your goals. We got young Mr. Wilson, Charlie Wilson. Congratulations on the 1K. We got him in the building.
Oh.
We got Lady Gunner doing her leveling up. Really proud of what she's been doing as far as her tech shit. She's been in the background. And then we got Dad Pat, who's daddy.
He's a father.
So what y'all been up to, man? How's everyone doing today?
He's a father.
I'm cool, bro.
What's up, Mr. Wilson?
Last night, had some dope friends and mentors come through the stream last night. Had some great conversation. Now I'm just getting ready for the big content drops and all that good stuff, and trying to prepare for the future. Streaming will be the new journey now. I've crushed the 1K goal. We will continue to drop on YouTube, but come August, niggas is streaming on Twitch very heavily. We will get these fire ass streams out the way. So be on the lookout for that.
I like the way you talk. Good job. Lady Gunner, where you been at, bro?
I just been here in the background, but just working, uploading some stuff in the background. But my little Batman lifestyle I got going on right now. What you been on?
Man, Lady Gunner, stop being so modest. Tell them how you are now playing that Final Fantasy 14, doing your fine.
No, I can't let everybody know that. Yeah, I'm practicing. When
you're
practicing, you gotta.
Okay. We're doing me and Lady Gunner are doing a project together with MMOs, and we're going to eventually roll that out on the main channel of our journey within that. If you want to join our private company, you are more than welcome. We are just building that, but I won't go any further. Dad Pat, what you been up to?
Yes, I am Greg, I am G, and I'm Dad Pat. What have I been up to? I have been collecting my thoughts, trying to stay out the way and not go crazy. Sometimes with the summertime and the kids don't go away and they always look at you around the clock, it gets a little crazy. But nonetheless, I'm good, man. I am about to just say, fuck it. Zayana, I know you're in the chat, so I apologize. I do not know if I don't stream today, I had to tell Perry this. If I do not stream Hellblade and finish out the last 2 hours today, I'm going to finish it offline on Monday so that I can get that review done. Okay. So don't yell at me. You can be disappointed, but don't yell at me. But I would like it even more if you weren't disappointed. But I mean, other than that, man, I've been good. Just, sticking and moving, shaking moves, all of that good stuff.
No Diddy.
Oh, dude.
Diddy.
For myself, it's been good.
All Diddy.
I got the Captain's Lounge is officially back. I have my favorite host, my co-host, Mr. The Anime Academic. Uh,
White
it,
chocolate.
You know what I'm saying? It's so natural for us to just be in the same area and just shoot the shits. And we can just sit there and just be talking for hours. We are also adding Mr. Wilson here to the rotation when he's available. We have sat through, like, we really just be kicking in Discord. We even watched the first presidential debate, and we all were like, where's them nigga jobs that they talking about?
Oh, wait, y'all was on the Discord watching?
Live.
Yeah. Hey, you know what?
I want to know what's
okay.
Black's job.
No,
That
no,
shit was
no.
low-key like watching
It's
Black
nigga
what?
jobs.
Nigga
They are
jobs.
called nigga jobs.
Nigga jobs.
Nigga jobs.
And
So look, this is
the
what I'm gonna
Mexicans
say.
that are taking the Hispanic jobs.
For the next debate, let's stream that shit. Let's do it.
I'm down. I'll fucking sit there
That
and
shit was like watching stand up together. That shit was hilarious. Bro.
It was like watching SNL. It absolutely was. Like, God.
Hey, my
Right.
golf swing is better than yours now. My handicap is fire now, nigga. Fuck you. You carry your own golf bag.
Did you hear?
People, but your golf swing though.
It was talking about I'm in premium shape like I was 4 years ago. I was like, nigga, where? But but
230,
yeah,
huh? 230 pounds, 230 pounds.
yeah, 230, huh? Yeah, okay. But yeah, it's been we Captain's Lounge is back. We usually stream Saturday night. Come through. We do tier lists. We do political conversations, or we just shoot the shits. We do drink and get a little toe up on the Captain's Lounge, so it can go either way. But it's nothing but love. If you want to come on, please let me know. I don't care. I just be shooting shits, playing the game, y'all. But outside of that, we have a full docket. We have a new formula for y'all today. We're going to cover 2 topics, and then we've got some basic conversations for y'all. Starting off, we have the developers in the game industry who are not happy, Elden Ring getting nerfed, and casual gamers versus hardcore gamers. So I would like to start off with the game developers who are not happy within the game industry. There was let's see here. There was a survey done with over 600 game developers, where they surveyed by the Game Developer Collective in May of 2024, and 59% of them collectively meant no words. The industry is in a bad spot. The survey were asked about the present market conditions for the industry overall. 38% and 21% were respectively at bad and very bad, while 26% stayed neutral and 13% found it good. And when we look at the chart here, I have it. Sorry, let me cover y'all. Causes of the poor market conditions: we have unreasonable investor expectation, mismanagement, development cost is too high, too much competitions from other games, marketing and user acquisition costs too high, lack of innovation, too much competition from other forms of entertainment, lack of consumer demand, and other. At the top of the list, it was unreasonable investors' expectations at 61%, with a follow of mismanagement at 58%. Now, with those statistics being said, and I want to go ahead and congratulate myself because, nigga, I am nervous when I read shit out loud, and I fucking did that. Oh, bro, I was a stuttering motherfucker. But when you stop it. But when you hear those type of statistics, what do you are you in favor of the game developers, or are you saying that they're doing too much and they're complaining too much? What are your thoughts about when you hear those type of statistics? And I would like to go ahead and start off with Lady Gunner, because she be sitting there like, nah, I don't give a fuck. Fuck Xbox.
We're gonna start off with you because you've been into it.
No, go ahead, Lady Gunner. You got it.
Yeah. Let me sit there. Come on.
I'm not gonna sit here no, y'all go, cause
lady,
Lady,
no, let me
lady,
be the
lady,
queen. No.
lady. No, I want to know your thoughts when you
Come
hear those
on now.
statistics as far as mismanagement and from some of the games that you heard that got canceled. A lot of this is a prime example of what Xbox has done and your complaints with them.
She just froze again. Did she
Oh,
run from us?
she did just wrong.
she just clicked out.
Oh, wow. She
Right.
I
logged
would have been
out.
quiet, pretend I was frozen, huh? That would have been funny. But nah, oh shoot, no. Turn my
Hit us with a
camera off.
substitution jutsu. It was crazy.
Wow.
Look.
Wild.
My cat touched my stuff. But I just feel
That's what
like
you said.
poor management on their part. But I mean, Xbox, I feel like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like they did a good job with the videos they released, and I thought they was making a comeback. But then after that, it was kind of just like, I think they need a new CEO personally. That's just me. But
When it comes
um,
to like how, if you could, how would you manage a game? And say you're developing, what's that, Mass Effect? How would you manage
yeah.
that game so you'll have it so it won't be mismanaged in your if you're in leadership?
What you mean, like promotion wise, or
Well, I
like
mean,
the game, like the game story itself?
promotion. Where would you put most of your money and your time into when it comes to the push for this new game? Like, what would you mainly focus on?
I would mainly focus on like the clips and the gameplay of the game. Like me personally, like what the game would actually have, and not just the major like scenes that they add into it itself. Because you'll play it and then be like, "Dang, this wasn't in the game," or "They ain't show this part." I would actually drop clips of the game and like a little bitty like story session, like how they did with Anthem. I don't know if y'all seen that, but Anthem had me hype at GameStop. I'm over here pushing, promoting Anthem. Oh man, I was like, this finna rock the world. This finna kill Destiny. It was killing my PlayStation. So, but
I just, I still do not understand what y'all saw. Like,
oh my god, Anthem had me
I,
so
It looks
excited.
sick.
It
The
was just
gameplay looks
like
sick.
the suits. It was like a combination. For me, it was like a combination of Destiny and Mass Effect. Like, but then you get to play with your friends and like a vast open world. The flying, like
it's like
I
nobody
got the
ever
$100
noticed
edition
that.
to everything, bruh.
That's sick. Like, y'all didn't notice that every time they showed that game, it was almost the same exact demo. Like,
I
they
didn't notice
showed
at that
the
point.
same
I was
demo
Every
for
time they
like
showed it, I
2
looked at
years.
the armor, the graphics, the fire coming at the
And,
back. I
and
was,
that's all they did was use different moves and different armor, but it was the same fucking mission. Like,
Ever and over and over again.
well,
uh,
the $100 edition got me excited. So I would say definitely because Anthem sold a lot of copies in one night. Like we had people lined outside the door. So,
I
but
bet y'all got a lot of trade-ins too, huh? Woo.
The disappointment.
Yeah.
restore credit.
you tell it, I got
$5.
digital edition. I had to delete it. I was like,
look, look, T Will said, no, we didn't.
but definitely
Look,
what Anthem did with a promotion. Even if it, I would add different clips with different like if my game had like different suits, I would add different clips and different
in
scenes.
different
But
missions,
yeah,
definitely different missions,
so
please.
so so like a story.
almost.
Okay. So I will go with Charlie next. With the percentages that you saw, what would you say is the biggest issue in the mismanagement or the expectation of some of these investors? And what would you do to change that?
From the investor perspective, it's the lack of understanding the context of the market that you're participating in. I feel like what a lot of investors are seeing is there is a lot more money available in the pool of consumers in gaming right now. There's a lot more people into gaming,
Hmm.
but you're not looking at the context of like what makes up that pool as far as the hardcore gamers, the people that casually buy games, as far or even what people are even looking for when it comes to those games. It's just like, oh, more money, so more product means we can get more money out of this pool. Um, for the key example, when you look at something like as recent as Elden Ring, right, we understand that Elden Ring really popped off in popularity after its release due to a lot of the hardcore gamers and some of the content creators making content around it and it hyping it up. And that getting a lot of, I think, what's going to lead perfectly into our second topic at some point soon, whenever we get into that. The casual gamer space wanting to try it out because it was hyped up to be so cool. Usually, and I heard somebody again. I think I heard TBH say this in particular, and I agree. Hardcore gamers push the market for games and make games popular. Um, like even going back to COD, where when you see people do cool shit in games, you then want to do that cool shit also. Um, and for me in particular, what I would do if I'm an investor and I'm looking to try to get in that money is again find out pay more attention to who my niche is, my market base. So if I have like a Soulsborne game and I understand that I'm marketing this game towards people that love skill challenges, that love a difficult game, cool. Let me get my marketing based around that and push that to people and not just try to ooh and awe them with just graphics or just the aesthetic pieces of my game.
Right.
In
Okay.
regards to the developer aspect of it, again, a lot of that I can't speak to personally because again, I'm not a developer. I'm not in that world and understand how working on a development team works. But from what I've heard from different places and different articles I've seen, most of the issue comes when you're working on this title and maybe a new regime comes in and they want to focus on different things, or they don't let you do your job. They micromanage you, or they want to change specific little things, or they want certain aspects or mechanics in the game that either weren't ready to be put in that game or just weren't fleshed out enough to be completed. And that's when you get into a lot of aspects where people rush out games that are undone and then add in features that were supposed to be the main game in as DLC because they never finished it.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that'd be my aspect. And I would love to speak to a developer that's been on a shitty team to kind of get more insight into how exactly that happens. But from the few developers I spoke to, I know I spoke with my guy Ben, that worked on the God of War Ragnarok game, and he was telling us about some of the things they had to do to go through like developing that particular game. Although that wasn't a toxic development team, but it was a development team nonetheless.
Right. And then G, because we talk about this a lot as far as in our private conversations. For me, for my question for you is, we know it's not the developers. We know it's mainly the investors. And I'm going to throw you a curveball, and I wanted to see how you look at it as well, to help to carry back on Charlie's aspect of find out what my niche is. And as of right now, that I looked on Twitch earlier this morning, I see a lot more people our age or older playing these games and streaming them more than ever. So, what would you do to focus on that target audience and change the mental aspect of these investors to say, hey, you're putting your money in the wrong places? And where would you put the money at? And how would you change it if you was leading something in the game industry?
So it's funny because my answer kind of ties in exactly what you're asking me. But it's one of those things that when it comes down to it, the way that you fix this issue in general, and this isn't even like me being hypothetical, this is the way that you fix this issue. Everything has to be within reason. Like, first and foremost, like I love Hideo Kojima, but in hindsight, I understand that part of the reason that shit went sour with him and Konami is because they gave him the opportunity to follow his vision, and it was taking an extremely long time, and those games were extremely expensive. So I understand that you gotta have a certain range of reality when you are developing a game, but at the same time, as investors and publishers, you gotta allow these creators to create. That is the number one thing. Perfect example, case in point, would be the Suicide Squad game. Like as all of this stuff is coming out now, now we know that the original thing that Sucker Punch one, not Sucker, is it Sucker Punch? Rocksteady, sorry.
Rocksteady,
the original game that Rocksteady wanted to make was going to be a Batman Beyond game. And then they were, all right, well, maybe not Batman Beyond. Maybe we can do a game starring Damian Wayne, because in this world, Bruce Wayne has already been involved with Talia al Ghul. Maybe that's our next angle. They went and demoed those games. They kind of got past the demo phase, kind of like in a pre-alpha phase. And then WB and their investors, as the publishers, came through and said, hey, Rocksteady, we see what Destiny doing. They made one game. They release updates every now and then, and they charge a shit ton through the hello impulse, love and light to you as well, and all that good stuff. But anyway, they essentially put themselves at a position to where they came in and said, all right, Rocksteady, we want you to emulate that. And what did we get? We got a Suicide Squad game by Rocksteady. Now, let me remind you, Rocksteady is a pioneer in the modern superhero game. Without Rocksteady, we wouldn't have had the Shadow of War games, Shadow of Mordor. We wouldn't have the Spider-Man games in their current form, because all of those games are copies of what Arkham as a series were. You know what I'm saying? So you take them and then you put them in front of a noteworthy IP, which at first we were all excited about it, but then we see the game and it's like, oh, okay, what do we got? We got a season pass and we don't even know what's in the fucking base game yet. What do we have here? We've got 4 characters who we know and love on some form or another. But guess what? Why isn't Mr. Boomerang? Why is he not using his boomerang? Why is he using a gun? Why is Killer Shark using a gun? Why isn't he using like brute strength and just like eating people? Like so on and so forth. Like it doesn't, it just doesn't make sense, because what they wanted to do was, okay, well, if we make these characters too unique, then we can't sell you upgrades and loot boxes to get exclusive exotic weapons and shit. Like it's crazy. So ultimately it goes back to like, you gotta let these developers create, man. Like I think that's the easiest way, and again, it has to be within reason. And I'm not even going to say that microtransactions are bad. I understand that when Capcom puts out Street Fighter, it costs maybe, I don't know, just throwing a number out there, maybe $100 million, to get all of that shit off the ground, to pay these people to make sure that they can support their families, market the game, to have Lil Wayne hosting the commercials and the streaming events, all that shit. I understand that costs money. So when you have new characters and you want to sell them and you want to sell extra costumes and shit, do that. But you have to let the creators create, and you cannot let the marketing team of all people dictate when these games are released, because that's when shit like Cyberpunk happened.
Right.
But that's how you fix it, man.
Yeah. I totally agree on everyone's point here. For me, I will take less money on marketing and invest it more into the developing aspect, and look at the plot holes, see where we can fix and make the game better. And then from that point, I'll probably go more of word of mouth and actually allow the streamers to market the game. Like, hey, I will put my game in the hands of the people who are going to play and actually put it on these streaming platforms. I can market. Dr. Disrespect conversation will happen later in Impulse. That's not on the docket today, but that's something we can have later on. But when it comes to the, as far as developing and changing the gaming industry, I would say definitely put that developing process, a marketing budget, more into the hands of the streamers that are going to be on the game. So like, huge example is Kai Cenat playing Elden Ring. To Charlie's point, From Software is one of those pedigree studios. Like, if you are From Software, you're going to get a game that's going to be artistically phenomenal. About that, you're going to have a difficult game. You're going to have a challenge. You're going to talk about the builds. You're going to have a lore type game that's been good, or a mech game when it comes to Armor Core. Like, you're going to have that. So you're going to always have that. One, you're going to have your hardcore gamers and your supporters. That's going to be there, and they're going to carry that weight and conversation with them and spread it to the masses. Then you have someone like Kai Cenat, who isn't mainstream when it comes to his gaming, when it comes to a streaming platform. He takes this opportunity to then starts playing a game that he traffics in over 100,000 live congruent people to watch him play this game. This now influences other streamers to play this game as well. So this game is getting traction because they're seeing these people say the difficulty of these people trying to beat this game, and they're struggling, and
Mm-hmm.
that's good entertainment. That's good conversation. So then I play it. So now I'm sitting here like I should do a build or try to give them advice. Or see some young kids like I want to try this out. I want to have fun and realize that they're going through absolute hell. So
Mm-hmm.
when if you put it in the hands of the people, it can be carried on. And that is why I believe the fighting game community is a phenomenal example of that, because hardcore gamers are going to have the longevity of the game, but the casual gamers is going to give life to that game.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. The
So
casuals, those are the ones that are going to move units.
exactly. So you want to make it as welcoming for casuals, but you still want to have like, hey, we are welcoming you in. We have a learning curve here, but there's things here where you our hardcore gamers are really going to focus in on, but this is something casual for you to enjoy as well. And that there shows that it's pretty it's a good formula.
Mm-hmm.
Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8 are the examples of that right now compared to Mortal Kombat 1. They given those two games literally gave their casual audience something to enjoy from story, graphics, and gameplay. But at the same time, you made it more rewarding to the people that took the time in to learn this game, to do the meetups, to go to these tournaments and have fun. That's why I'm a huge believer that it's okay to still have those online sessions, because not everyone can go to these link ups and within each other. So it's okay to have I'm the best online player. It's okay to have those sessions online because you're enjoying it and it's giving life to that game. So
Right.
that's my take when it comes to this industry. I believe that the developers have every right to feel the way that they do, because the investors they're wasting their money when it comes to marketing. You're not getting full-fledged games. You are having a lot of people saying this game is broken. And I believe we need to start listening more and actually have a union for these developers. It's very sad that Xbox, you got rid of successful studios who are winning rewards for their hard work. They should not be shut down. That should be rewarded. They should be backed. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my take on that topic there. Not to harp on it too much, but it ties into our next topic.
Hold on, wait. Very quickly.
Yes.
Two things.
Two answers.
One, impulse to answer your question. Elden Ring is very fun. It is not for everyone. It is very fun though. I don't know if you've tried it or not, but it is the easiest of the Souls games, at least in the base game. But that's not saying a lot when you talk about the ease and like access to this game. Like I would still like advise you to try it out if you can find it on a discount. But shit still ain't sweet. And then also I actually do feel like, even if very brief, we should at least kind of address um Doctor Disrespect shit. And I do want to make that very quick. My thing is, I don't like Dude. I've never liked Dude. I always thought that he was like a proponent of toxic culture within gaming. I think he's a scrub. I think he's a scumbag. And the character that he reflected that was so problematic obviously was a true reflection of himself, because he likes little girls. So what else is there that needs to be said? Like, he's always been a clown, and now we know he's a clown outside of the character as well.
Yeah,
Like, he takes off his clown nose and reveals that there's a fucking red honky nose under the clown nose too.
right. As far as that, I will discuss that more in the Captain's Lounge, where we can be a little bit more uncensored. Censored. You can find me at CyberCap2011 at Twitch.tv to go more into further details with that. But yeah.
Real quick too, on the
Mr.
gaming developing aspect of it, really quickly, I think
Absolutely.
a secret cheat code that they need to take more studios should take more advantage of when it comes to releasing new games, AAA or otherwise. A demo or beta showcases confidence and strength in your product. Now, if it's not finished or not to that point, obviously don't do it. But if you have your game at a certain point of development to where you feel strong enough as far as letting people get a feel for it. Because even if it has a few bugs here or there, it's fine because it's a beta or a demo. Like, we understand that those are allowing you to take notes to fix things in the full game in between the time of the demo and when the release drops. But when you, like, for me in particular, especially with for example, Final Fantasy 16, when they dropped that demo, I think that was a perfect way to do that. They drop a demo with a good little bit of the portion of the story. You play through it. You get the feel for how fun it is, the spectacle of what the story is going to be. And then when the game comes out, you get to pick up where you left off. I bought that shit. I pre-ordered that shit immediately after I played that.
What game was that?
16.
Final Fantasy 16.
Oh,
and that was my first Final Fantasy game. I'm like, I got to play this demo and test it out. I don't know what I
really.
Especially, that was my first one.
Cool.
It is even more prevalent for the fact of how expensive games are now. I get a chance to test this thing out, something I've never played before or been interested before in this world, and get to see if I enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I bought it. It's something as simple as that. And I think it's something that people can take more advantage of when it comes to stuff and the release.
Yeah,
I'll say,
and I agree.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Perry.
Oh, okay. So for me, I agree with Charlie when it comes to AAA games. I'll go to the point of give more in between buffer games like filler for these AAA titles, gaming studios, where it's like you got these big ass budget games. You used to have in between games like, oh, this is a fun title with a few hours worth of gameplay. And to have fun. That's why I believe like indie studios and smaller studios are having so much more success, because they put that time into these smaller games for in between to the bigger titles. But go ahead to your point, G.
Yeah, and I actually got a point for both of y'all. Charlie, very quickly, I agree with you. Same thing here. There's never been a game that has sold me harder off of a demo than both Final Fantasy and Stellar Blade. Like, based off of those demos, like, those games were undeniably must plays for me.
Speaking of Stellar Blade with that demo, did anybody beat the game, or y'all just bought that for the cheats?
I got to the end of it. I haven't beat it yet, but I'll finish it out though.
I got like 3 games in my backlog. Is one of them. I gotta get back into it.
Yeah, but what I will say is, like, I think that the realm of like just paywalling the game and just giving people access to the first hour, depending on the length of the game, the first hour to 3 hours of the game, just to kind of fill it out, should be a no-brainer if you believe in your game. But also, I do know that sometimes these people know that the games are sketchy, and investors don't want them to do that because they know if they do that and the game's not great, then it'll actually end up hurting sales. So it's kind of a catch-22 there. And then Perry, to your point, I'm sorry, what was your point again? Because I did want to say something.
In between games.
In between
like
games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I agree with the in between games, because like, think about what Insomniac is doing. Over there, we got Spider-Man, and then we got Ratchet and Clank. Before we got Ratchet and Clank, we got Miles Morales, which was still a AAA quality game, but it wasn't the full 20, 30 hour Spider-Man experience. It's like a 5 to 8 hour game. It was like $40 when it came out. You could pay $50 and get like the Spider-Man PS4 on PS5. And then now we are turning around. We got Spider-Man 2, but also we know that they are also working on a smaller Venom game, which is probably going to come out maybe 2026. Yeah, so we're expecting them to give us Wolverine next year, and then the year after that, we're expecting to get a Venom game, which is probably going to be smaller. And then towards the end of PS5 or maybe into PS6, they'll be cooking up Spider-Man 3 and cooking up on an X-Men game. So like the cadence that they have there, where we're getting those big games, but then we're also getting like those small 5 to 8 hour experiences to kind of bridge the gap, tell some additional story within the worlds they're building, are great. It's a really good idea, and I think that a lot more developers should focus on not always making these huge bloated 50-hour games. Like, if your game's going to be, yeah, absolute passion. That's what made fucking
Ghost.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima was good, but no, and particularly, what's the Hi-Fi Rush was a passion project, and it was fucking great.
Amazing.
Like we need that.
So absolutely. So with that being said, I would like to say, if you have any other, if you have any input on that particular topic on the game industry, do you agree with these developers? And what aspect in the gaming industry do you think that should change so these developers can become more happy for the things that they are working on? And on the
Yeah,
next
because people are
topic,
definitely leaving.
oh yeah, you're running away, good artists. And in other news, in the I have molded many kings in the world of Elden. I am now molding my first queen in Elden Ring. But these fools, these crybabies, these casuals have cried so much about the difficulty of Elden Lord that they have decided to put a patch out there to make it easy. You crybabies frustrate me. Ziana seen my frustration last night, but not once did I say they need to make it better. I said I must get better because I am trash right
Skill
now.
check.
Skill check. With all the skills and tools and accessories to make the game easier, you fools want to cry because you want to play it like a Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne. You fools disgust me.
She said, "What you crying about it last night?"
I was crying about it last night. I was getting my ass whooped, but I didn't say anything to make it easier. I said I was tired and I'm trash. I acknowledged myself and said I must get better. So in news today, Miyazaki has came out and said we're going to put a patch out there for those who are crying because clearly Elden Ring is too difficult. Elden Ring Shadow of Erdtree is too difficult for you casuals, to you babies.
Now, Perry, can I ask you some questions?
Of course you can. I am no longer Perry.
Because
I am SSMP.
SSMP. Okay, gotcha. So, for anyone that doesn't know, that is an acronym and initials of Sir Sage Master Perry.
Indeed.
And in the world of Elden Ring, he is absolutely a master as he
why
is
your accent
dragging
changed?
you casuals through the world of Elden Lords.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my question, because just so y'all know, I did not beat Elden Ring, but with Souls games, I usually play enough to be like, I can run this if I want to, but I do not like it enough to stay around. So that's where I am. Like, I usually get done with those games. Those games are never done with me. I play until I'm bored and then I do other stuff.
Yes.
But in regards of this game, because I've not played the DLC at all. Now, from what I understand, I've seen Jason Schreier tweeting about this earlier this week. He said that there are items in the game that you can go find to level up. Have those items always been in the game within the DLC, or was that what the patch is?
No, this is within the DLC. So with that,
Okay.
you are creating new builds that are tailored to this DLC.
Okay.
Meaning that there are weapons, because it's really quick. With the main game, these you don't run, so you'll run and you'll hit your attack button and you'll stop running. But with these weapons, you continuously move at a faster pace, so you can hit and move. So yes, they created mechanics to match the difficulty of this DLC. Continue, Greg.
So now this is what my problem is, and this is where the crybaby antics are harmful to the artistic view and to the core audience's experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is where they start to like really change shit up. Because from jump, Miyazaki said that the concept and the philosophy of this gameplay loop is if you run into difficult things, the idea is go somewhere else and do something else and explore and come back later. Because the idea is you will get stronger, you will find someone that you can handle, and after you handle a couple of those other people, you will come back with more knowledge of the game, you'll come back with more skill points, and you'll be able to hopefully at that point overcome said challenge that you had to move away from. So my issue is like, from what I understand, most of these people that have been crying about this DLC being too difficult are people that were like, oh, well, I'm level 90 from the base game. I'm just going to come in here and wreck shit. And and tried to just steamroll through shit and essentially ignored the philosophy of, all right, well, maybe I can't steamroll this. Let me explore this new land and see what's available, which would in turn cause them to level up and which would make the game easier by, getting skills and more experience in this new landscape.
Hmm.
Like,
I
is
don't
that
think
is that a fair
everybody is
assumption?
like. I mean, that's a fair assumption. I just think everybody is built that way. So, like when Elden Ring first came out, I forgot my first two characters. My first two characters got stuck
First,
on Mog, the Lord of Blood or something like that. He's in the Undercity, worst boss ever. Like he beat me so bad. I'm not the person to like, you know what? I'm gonna leave, go explore, come back and beat. I'm gonna beat you until either you're done with me or I'm done with you. And I got done with him first, so twice. But I found
put
out
your ass on
later
the
it's
shelf.
because I messed up my builds. Like I was trying to be a balance, like magic, health, stamina, all in one go. So I'm like level 300, and I ran out of lava tears messing around twice. So I'm on my third official build, which I'm working on, which is basically a blood build, magic. So we getting, I'm getting there. We're gonna see.
That's what's up.
Is it gonna be the same
Yeah.
story again? I
Let's
don't
hope
know.
not. Let's hope not. Just remember, like, the philosophy of this game is if you get stuck, go somewhere else.
Nah,
Like,
I'm putting you on your
don't
knees.
So
Don't be
like
pressured by the fucking Souls community, because this, like, I love the Souls community. There are some that are really helpful and be, hey, this is what you need to do. But then there's toxic people. Who gives a fuck if you use summons? Like, the objective of this fucking game is to win, beat it,
Mhm.
and never come
Mhm.
back. Okay, yeah, I use summons. What the fuck you gonna do about it? Cry?
I just got my mimic too.
Yeah, but I don't care. Cry. Because guess what I'm going to do? As soon as I beat this person with my summons, I'm going to go in my room and I'm going to squeeze my wife's ass. And then I'm going to go outside and touch grass. We are not the fucking
Yeah.
same.
Nigga, you
Sitting
got no
outside, I
grass in
did it.
Arizona. What are you talking about?
Oh, my fault.
Go
Well,
touch
no.
the
We got
dirt.
fake grass.
Touch
I
the
got fake
sand.
grass. I got
You
fake
got
grass.
Oh,
fake
okay. You got
grass.
some
Chill.
turf.
I
Okay,
got
you got
turf.
some
You know what
turf.
I'm saying? I got
Okay.
fake grass.
Okay.
Well,
But yeah,
I'll
but
say,
oh, go ahead,
I
Charles.
think the main issue with this is kind of to the detriment that you see with a lot of other IPs and core audiences. Most again, I always relate shit back to this just because I know more about this, but in correspondence to the NBA, right, or even the WNBA,
Uh-oh.
you have a core group of people who just love parody and love basketball. You want to see all these teams and all these different aspects of this product be balanced, be good, so that it's entertaining to you and that it's just good at its core, mechanically speaking. And then you have a new audience base that comes in who is more interested in the spectacle of everything. They want the dynasties, they want the super teams, because historically, with basketball and the NBA, it's been more successful when you've had these dynasties because people watch to see these greater than life things go at it. And transitioning that into this game in particular, when you have a casual audience who come in and they see, like, they come in because they see people do crazy shit in these games or even struggle or have fun with these games. And when they go through it themselves, they're expecting to replicate what they are seeing, or they're just trying to spend the last, because again, keep in mind too that most casual gamers are people that are playing these games for like a few hours in their free time after work. They're not trying to put in an absorbent amount of time into a game, and they're only trying out this game because they saw other people do it and word of mouth. So a game like Elden Ring, in which requires a lot of time for you to explore and upgrade and come back and learn skill sets, I don't think that is the right game for a certain demographic, for at least the super casual demographic, unless you're willing to get outside of your comfort zone. Because most of the casual demographics are going to be playing the sports games, so the 2Ks, the Maddens, they'll be playing the CODs, the Fortnites, the Spider-Man, probably some of the story-based single player games because they can pick up and put those down. With a game like this, you need to pay a little bit more attention to, you need to pace yourself. But from the studio, because that's part of the reason the studio's messing up too, because they saw that they get all this attention, from all this casual fan base, and now they're trying to keep appealing to them going forward by making things easier and trying to make them stay around. But I think that's when you start to fuck up, is that when you start to move away from what your core mantra was to get you here, and you start doing shit just to keep new people around, there's no guarantee that they stay around in the long term. They could just be here for the moment. But your core fan base is going to be there if you put out another game tomorrow. They're probably going to pick that game up at some point.
I want to thank Aiden for influencing him to play Souls games. It's just because I love him so much, I want more people to play him. But Charlie, to your comment, I will say they made Radon the first main game easier, but he was still difficult to play because the developers, Miyazaki was like, I gave you guys tools, I gave you resources to dog walk him. You can do a blood and a rot build, and that will destroy him quickly within that time frame you're facing him.
And there's quickie.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That Mr. 120. But there's like Melania. Even with all the summons, now it's a learning curve. And it's like you have to learn the game still. And that's why I think I really love Souls games, because no matter how much you want to nerf it or things like that, you can try different builds, you can have fun, but it's still going to have that difficult aspect because you have to learn certain mechanics. That's why I think out of all the Souls games, when it comes to skill check and your understanding of the game, nothing compares to Sekiro at all. There's no over.
Oh my god! I returned it the same day.
I love that game.
When it comes to skill check, build, because you can't become overpowered. You have to understand the where you're focusing on and playing at. Like you have to understand that, and that's where Souls is just so good to me. You can always play a whole game throwing exactly like you can. There's people who just throw rocks at people, and then there's like other people in the community like, let me solo her. This is a gamer that took on the mantra of, I'm going to put a fucking vase on my head and I'm going to wield these two swords and I'm going to beat the shit out of Melania so bad that everyone's going to summon me to help me beat her. And I don't need your help. Move. They call me, let me solo her, to the point that this From Software Studios created a statue dedicated to this man.
But it's wild. The demonic. For you to do that much, you're demonic.
He's demonic.
You're demonic, or you have reflexes that are just like beyond human comprehension.
Once you learn
sometimes it be like that, dog.
Once you learn when you actually see like the mechanics of the games or the attack patterns for some of these, they're pretty good to do. I have my quarrels with Elden Ring with some of these big ass dragons or the Elden Beast, and they have a hitbox of a fucking penny. And I'm like, you stupid son of a bitch. So there's frustration there.
Yeah.
But I'm able to beat them because I'm going to cheese my way through at this point. Oh, magic build.
I have Moonville Katana cheese my way.
There are so many ways that you can get through this stuff.
Right. So, to again, this goes back a few years ago to the people I do not like, to the people who requested, can they put an easy mode in here? Get good. You fucking babies. If you don't like it,
easy mode.
I said that about Sekiro.
No,
I played that game for 40 minutes, and that troll up the hill kept WWE kicking me off and throwing me off and slamming me off. I was like, you gotta go.
That wasn't.
You
I
didn't
make it past the troll,
the,
bro.
Oh my goodness.
And that's fine. Like if that's not the type of game for you, it's not the game for you. It's fine. I think that's part of the issue nowadays. People want everything to be for everybody. It may not be. It's not your cup of tea. If it's not,
you know what?
Cool.
And you know who it is. And I don't mean no disrespect to you when I say this, Charlie. Okay, because you're a baby.
I know where
you're
about to go with this. Go
so
ahead.
This is what I'm saying. I come from an era of gaming, right, where they made the game so difficult that you was either A, forced to put another quarter in and another quarter in, another quarter in just to beat it, or B, they would make these games intentionally difficult and broken, like the Lion King game for Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, that you would have to rent the game multiple times to beat it. That is the era in gaming I come from. I come from the era of games where, hey, if you want to beat Sonic 1 or you want to beat Sonic 2, guess what? At the end of Sonic 2, the final boss in that game, you got to beat him without getting hit, Why? Because you don't get rings. The level starts with no rings. They don't give you any rings. And guess what? Fight Metal Sonic and then fight Dr. Robotnik. But you get no rings, bitch. And you either did it or you didn't. If you didn't do it, guess what? You better be good enough to have it continue, because if you don't, your ass is starting back from level 1. Okay.
The pushback I'll give on that, because I know where you're going with it as far as the generational gap. I would argue that a good portion of this as well is people from your generation. Because although you had those things, there were not that many gamers in your generation. And a lot of people your age are starting to get put on the games, and they're like, what the fuck is this? I feel like people in my generation are more used to games like this, or games in general, because we grew up playing them from a very young age and had access to a wider variety from the jump. I think a lot of older people, especially people that are looking to stream and be content creators at a little bit of an older age, they're like, what the fuck is this? Why is this like this? It should be this difficult. And they're not.
No, you're right. And that's why I said I didn't mean no offense to you, because I know you're a younger player, because it is some younger players too. It is a lot of cats my age too. And guess what? Them the niggas that been stuck in Call of Duty, 2K, and all of those worlds for too damn long. What I say to all of them is, like, man the fuck up, woman the fuck up. Like, if you want to play the game, play the game. But what you're not going to do is cry about the game being too difficult. Like, turn it off if that's the case.
Y'all want to hear a deathbed confession?
Deathbed.
What's up, Black Beat?
When Kingdom Hearts would get too hard sometimes for me, I would start over and just start the game over, pick a different shield sword, or why you looking like that, Greg?
You know that meant nothing for the game. That had no statistical changes.
That is why, like, ultimately, all of that.
I mean, I went back to the music sometimes because it's too hard. Go back to the music, to the beach. It's relaxing here, you know.
Sure. Yeah. And again, a lot of that stuff. Again, I think it's like actual like statistics on like the ages of people playing games right now. But that is something I'm noticing though, because again, because we'll get into it in a second. But the new wave of casual gamers is very interesting to analyze.
Well, we can actually go there now. Before we get to going there, I want to give a congratulations to my boy Ian, the casual daddy. He just reached a milestone of 10K. We are over here eating. Everyone is now in those big digits, and we're on our way working together. So congratulations to bro.
10 bandos is crazy.
I'm saying we out here growing. Nothing but success and moving forward. Now, Charlie, I will allow you to lead us into this next conversation, because you're the one that offered it to us. Do your thing, Young Wilson.
Right. So, casual versus hardcore gaming, right? I want to take this moment to focus on the casual gamers for a second, because it's a very interesting thing to look at personally for me, because I have a good bit of these people in my circle that I speak to, that are colleagues of mine. Obviously, I think a huge inception of these casual gamers were the Fortnite era of gaming, when like Fortnite took off and everybody of all ages began playing this thing. I think that's when it really took off, where when you ask somebody, usually, hey, are you a gamer? Usually beforehand, it would be, oh, I played this game or that game. I played a Baldur's Gate. I played a 2K. I played a whatever, insert all different types of genres games. I played everything. Now, a lot of people will probably tell you I played like one of 6 games. And it's usually a combination of what I mentioned, as far as a sports game, like a 2K, Madden, Fortnite, maybe like a superhero game, because superheroes are mainstream, like a Spider-Man. And that's about it. And sometimes now we're into games like Elden Ring. And I'm fun with the interesting, because I have a particular friend. I like to use her as like a character study when I look at this. She is somebody who is sort of a nerd, low key. Like, she watches anime to some degree, things of that nature, but she never like deep dives into it, because she doesn't want that to become like her personality. She's scared of like being titled as a nerd. But recently she's told me like, hey, yeah, I've been playing a lot of Fortnite with me and my homies, and we just play Fortnite every night. We enjoy Fortnite. But when I then tell her like, hey, well, if you like Fortnite, maybe you would enjoy this game or that game based off of what I know about you, your preferences. Those things then sound intimidating to her. And she's like, nah, maybe at some point, but I'll stick to this for now, because this is something I can adjust to and it's comfortable for me. And I'm noticing that with a lot of these casual gamers that are coming in playing these games like Fortnite, or that are games that are a little bit easier to comprehend, they are not willing to go outside of their comfort zone as much to play other games. And I think that article that I mentioned beforehand, where it talked about how 60% of gamers from 2023 were playing games that are at least 6 years old and weren't playing newer games. That's where
Yeah, I
that
did
comes
see
from.
that too.
These newer gamers are sticking with what's comfortable for them for a very long time until they get word of mouth about this one game, or they see TikToks or content creators they follow give them positive reviews on the game, or it's something that they're willing to jump into as part of their fandom, like Spider-Man or Wolverine. I think that's going to be the next big thing that people are going to gush about because of the character and the pedigree of Marvel and whatnot. But that's the interesting thing. And then obviously getting into the hardcore stuff is when you look at what we mentioned before as far as hardcore gamers pushing gaming forward in regards to what's popular, what's hot, and what's not, because they make it look cool for one. Because a lot of people will watch streams and watch gameplays. At least for me in particular, I watch that stuff on YouTube is because it was entertaining to see somebody be really good at something, which is why you watch sports or anything competitive. You see people be good at that thing. So hardcore gamers push the culture forward, and we're starting to see this trend now because there's a lot more casual gamers than are hardcore gamers. You're starting to see this negative thing that a lot of companies do is when they see more money in a market, they then say, okay, let's pander towards the money. So they're pandering towards casual gamers now. And I'm starting to feel like a lot of casual gamers just don't know what they don't know in regards to these microtransactions and how games used to be without microtransactions, how games aren't finished and how they used to be. They're just buying them, they're playing them. They don't really care about any of the other smaller details that we have issues with because they don't know life before that. And because they're still buying it, these IPs and these developers are still like, oh, well, if they're still buying it, we can keep making it because they're still buying it. When they start to get more educated on that these games aren't how games are supposed to be in regards to quality, and they stop buying them just because, I think once gamers, casuals, and hardcores get more of on a unified page, I think that's when we can start demanding better from these studios, because your consumer dollar is a lot stronger than you think it is, but you have to be on some form of a unified front on what a standard is.
Yeah,
I
agree with you.
That's my soliloquy, I guess.
So, like, the first thing I do want to kind of hit, and I think that you are right. A lot of times, what happens with people, at least on the casual front, is they don't know any better. A perfect example of that is now, after 2K has been doing this shit since 2K13 is when VC really started to pick up.
Yeah.
And by 2K14 is when, you know, it started to be like normalized and everything. You pretty much needed it to play the game. And, you know, for the longest, I've been saying, hey, I'm never gonna play another 2K. When I played 13 and then went over to 14, I spent maybe 20 to 40 bucks in VC on 13. And then I got into 14 and spent maybe another 20 to 40 bucks there. And then I looked up and realized that they are going to keep doing this. So after, you know, to buy a game where you are a NBA player, not a high school, not a college player, you are like essentially within your first 2 games, like in my career, like entering into the NBA draft. In real world scenarios, somebody that's going into the NBA draft and being picked already knows how to shoot. They already know how to dribble. They probably know how to dunk. They know at least a basic crossover. They know how to get a rebound. To essentially paywall things like that should be in the game on some type of base level. Like if you want to have like the craziest J's on, or you want to get like these crazy outfits and shit, like I get that. Like I said, I am not against microtransactions. Like I understand that these games cannot just be a one sell and one done thing. Like they need legs these days. But to make it to where like, oh, okay, yeah, well, guess what? You got the dunk stat. Now you got to give us some more VC so you can get a dunking kit, because you got to select your dunks. Otherwise, you're just going to do one basic 2-hand dunk it's fucking crazy. You know what I mean? So, like, Where me at that point, I'm already a hardcore gamer. I catch on like, oh wait, no, this isn't right. I'm not doing this. Fuck this game. You have those other people that don't know any better. They're casuals, and they think that that's just what gaming is now. And like testament to that, you see so many people that, you know, if you look at some of these gaming meme pages, just, oh, I remember when you bought a game and the game was done when you bought the game, and that was it. You just bought the game. But in reality, we still have that. You can, like, Final Fantasy 16 was complete out the box. God of War Ragnarok, complete out the box. Hellblade 2, complete out the box. Hi-Fi Rush, complete out the box. But because the casual people are playing what? Your Grand Theft Autos, your Maddens, your 2Ks, your Call of Duties, all of these games that build a necessity around these microtransactions to feed their in-game economy, that is what they think gaming is. And they don't know any better, so they just think that it's just the way that it goes now. Another point I did want to go ahead. I saw my boy Ian, he was in the chat. He said, I can't find the exact comment. You had said, oh, there it is. So Ian said it's hard for a lot of people to pay $70 for a game they're unsure that they'll like. So Ian, you are right in respects to that. I can't give you like all the points though, because I see something very interesting. Got two kids, 14 and 12, right? My 14-year-old, like this is me we're talking about. My PS5 catalog is like, I got like 500, maybe almost 600 games in my PlayStation 5 library at this point, okay? My 14-year-old, you know, they have one PS5, they rotate it back every like 2 to 3 weeks or some shit like that. But my 14-year-old, he continually plays Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. He continually plays like 1 or 2 One Piece games, and then he plays I forget, there's one other game that he plays. And then some Spider-Man on occasion. And those are the only games he plays. He ignores all 500 other games for those 4 to 6 games that he plays over and over. And it goes back to what Charlie was saying, that people play what's comfortable and they don't want to try these new games. A lot of people just don't want the challenge of figuring out something new, and they don't want that discomfort of not being good at it before they can get good and appreciate it. So I don't really know how you fix that though. You know?
You before I go, I want to ask Lady Gunner her take on casual versus hardcore gamers, because she's been quiet for some time.
No, I'm listening. I'm still trying to figure out. So, like, is your definition of a casual gamer is somebody who play the same game over and over, and then a hardcore
No,
gamer is somebody who plays different multiple games?
Essentially, that's how I define it. Is again, when you're casual, you're only going to play the games that's casual and comfortable to you. Because the casual, you can play like Boulder's Gate and you be casual if that's the only thing you play. If those type of games are the only things you play, hardcore gamers are people that are going to dibble and dabble in multiple different. You're going to play side scrollers. You're going to play your open world RPGs. You're going to play pretty much everything because you want the challenge and you want to just experience different types of games.
That's
Same way
crazy
like a
because
foodie
I figured a casual gamer is somebody who doesn't stay long enough to figure out the game. They go out here, they try to play different multiple games. They versus it's different. You have a backlog of games because you really like that game versus somebody who's like, I'm tired of this game. I'm gonna try a new game. I'm gonna buy a new game. So I don't know. To me that's kind of like casual because it's like you're not taking the time to like play the game, dominate the game, like see if you're good at it or not. Versus I feel like a hardcore gamer is somebody who like, I mean, at least you try, you put the time and effort in to like actually beat the game. Like for me, like I guess I would consider myself a hardcore gamer, but mine is more like I got hours in games. I do have like over like 300 some games, almost 400, but they all get hours. Destiny has 1,000 some. Overwatch has like 5, 6 something. Elden Ring has 2 something. Like I have hours games versus I mean even Helldivers, I do buy multiple games, but I put hours into the games before I get a new game.
yeah.
I will
I
say,
think that's an interesting point. like real
Okay.
quick that you make this, because
No, shut
I
up.
think that you can play one game and be hardcore at that one game. You know,
Mhm.
if you got 2,000 hours in this year's Call of Duty, one would say that's hardcore. But I mean, and I think what the definition of casual is all over the place. Ian says, I feel like I'm a casual. I play everything. I just don't care enough to remember lore or find everything to go platinum. Yeah. So fast and loose. I'm sorry, Perry. What were you gonna say, man?
Um, so for me, the difference between a hardcore gamer and a casual gamer is the it's like a foodie to
Mhm.
me.
I
Casual
think that's a
food
good
that
way to
you're
put it.
going to eat is your basic um franchises: McDonald's, Burger King, Chipotle, Qdoba, things that are nationally known. And of course, you can be a hardcore fan of those, and you're going to try what they produce new, but
Mm-hmm.
that is very widely acceptable. And that's perfectly fine. A person who is a true foodie is going to dibble and dabble, but also go in there and study it and appreciate of what is going of the culture of that food. So people who a good foodie is someone who studies the basics of the season and how they prep this food. Like they did this with they use this particular type of paprika for this pork
Hmm.
or this marinade. Same thing when it comes to gaming. There's nothing you can be a very hardcore gamer when it comes to 2K, Call of Duty, or Madden because that's your particular skill set. But overall, those are the more welcoming communities. It's very casual. It's very easy to pick up and drop. It's
Say
not
2K.
easy.
No, it's not.
Well, no, when it comes not to master, but to play, but that's any game. But those are very openly as far as the community. Hardcore gamers are those people who go into the professional realm, those speed runners, those competitors, those who break down the builds, the ones who are showing things of that game, that
Hmm.
are going to put the time in, um, and then who are going to have a diverse palette of the gaming community. For me, casual gamers are people who just play 2K and Madden and say they have an opinion for the whole game industry. You're a casual gamer. Nothing you say holds weight because that's all you know. You're not
Hmm.
willing to try anything else outside of the first 30 minutes. Did you put time into this game to appreciate it? Like you play Call of Duty, I'm not sorry, not Call of Duty, but 2K all this time. But you say the whole gaming industry is trash because you only know 2K. Have you tried Boulder's Gate? Played God of War? Have you tried other aspects of this community? That to me is a casual. That you take one particular game and put a title of trash or good because of this one game. I don't. That's
Hmm.
very casual to me, and I can't say that.
Lady, a lady got to put more context to it, at least for me. You can be a hardcore, like kind of to G's point, you can be hardcore at a particular game. Like again, like for me, 2K, I admit I'm a hardcore 2K fanatic. That's just because I love NBA basketball, like with a passion. I put a lot of
Mm-hmm.
time into that game to be good at that game. But I would also like to think that I am a hardcore gamer because I dibble and dabble in every other type of game. You can
Yeah.
be hardcore in one area, but not be hardcore in gaming as a whole. Because if you don't touch
Hmm.
everything, then I can't call you a hardcore gamer as a whole. But if you're only playing these three games, which you're hardcore these three games, cool. You're hardcore there. But as far as gamer overall, I wouldn't call you a hardcore gamer because you're only playing these three games. But you're
Yeah.
hardcore in those three games, though.
I th- I think
Okay.
another I think like another analogy for it would be like you ever see someone who essentially they claim that they love superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But then when you start to ask them, they can't tell you anything about any comic books, any graphic novels. They can't tell you anything about any animated series or mini series, but they know the MCU back and forth, up and down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you know, we all love the MCU to a certain extent. Just like, you know, Charlie would consider himself a hard gamer, but he does love him some 2K. Like, yeah, that's fine. But I think it's like one of those things when you say that you love superheroes, but maybe you really just like Marvel movies or DC movies, or you say that you love music, but all you really listen to is rap music. It's like, well, maybe you're not a hardcore gamer, or maybe you don't love music. Maybe you just love rap. Maybe you're just really good at Flight Simulator and that is your jam and that's all you're going to play. And that's hardcore for you there. But there's a whole world of gaming that you're ignoring while you choose to stay on this one game. So, but all in all, I do think that it is like one of those things that's like really fast and loose. But
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, I think that a hardcore gamer is going to immerse themselves in the culture of gaming versus someone that is casual. um is one going to do it for a pastime and is only going to do what feels good to them, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing either, though. Like, why the fuck will we do things that feel bad to us?
Yeah.
I think the only thing is like not stepping out of the comfort zone, because it's like, um how do you know that you don't like, for instance, strategy RPGs. I found out I like strategy RPGs because I tried this random ass Digimon Survive game and figured out that I like strategy RPGs. Like, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what you like if you don't at least try it. And I think that's like the biggest divide between casual audience and hardcore is, are you willing to step out of your comfort zone to try one of those games that you call that weird shit when you see your cousin playing?
Right. And not to carry on. It's just everyone knows we have a very diverse palette when it comes to gaming. But everyone here has their mastery of a game. For me, people know like I love a lot of games. They know I'm a Soulsborne master. They know like, oh, if this shit comes out, if it's anything tailored to Souls, Perry's gonna get it. Greg and his words, not mine. I have a platform extraordinaire. Charlie, him and Lady Gunner have this love-hate relationship with 2K. I wish them nothing but the
Deleted it
best.
again.
I will do everything I can to help them let that hurt go.
Stop buying BC.
Just give me another
Look,
RPG. We
look,
need
she
an
just
RPG
grabbed
again.
her drink like,
But
Again.
even with Ian, and he's more in the racing games, but he plays a lot of games, but his mastery is racing. That's fine. But we all know
he
that
got
the
the stick
gaming
set up
industry
too.
isn't the. We all know that we're not casual gamers because we can appreciate the games of different genres and show like, oh, there's really good games out there. You just have to get out your scope of what is just normal. But not to harp on this, we are now at the part of the show where we like to go ahead and give recommendations. Things that can either be inspirational, things to try out, or just get something off your chest. So, Lady Gunner, I want you to
Yeah,
start. What is your recommendation for today? Or for this week?
Um, uh, my recommendation is, go back and beat that game that you haven't beat and you feel like it beat you. I decided to download Elden Ring back.
Yes.
A little
My
bit because of the DLC, but
my
I'm going to
Padawan.
become the Elden Queen on this game and beat the Lord of Blood because he ran me off twice actually. So we going back in for that.
Yes.
Oh,
I am proud of you. I will be there to guide you throughout the way. Charlie, Mr. Wilson, Mr.
Um,
Captain Diesel.
for me to get into the comic back again, I'm actively covering Marvel's big event now, Blood Hunt, going on. I highly recommend that for anybody that's looking for a avenue back in the comics. It's not super complicated. They do a great job of streamlining. Jesus Christ.
I do like
Uh,
mine.
yeah, they streamlined the entire arc to where, okay, book 8, book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here are the 3 tie-ins in between that. You read these, you don't have to go try to find in 15 other books that tie into this. And then a lot of people's favorite characters, from Moon Knight to Blade to Spider-Man, the Avengers, the X-Men, all get their different parts in this story, and have their own little things going on. But for me in particular, I'm a huge fan of it because it seems like my girl Brielle Brooks, which y'all see her in the back somewhere, bloodline,
Cool.
Blade's biological daughter. She's getting a big part of this, so they're also pushing a lot of original characters and trying to get some of these people off the ground. And Blade's the villain of the story, so it's dope all around. I think we're on issue number 4 is the most recent one. There's 2 more to go before the story's over with, and a couple more tie-ins. I think Psylocke is getting her own like one-off of the X-Men story, and it's dope all around. So check that out if you haven't checked it out.
Okay, so recommendation: check out Bloodline.
Yeah, Bloodline. Yeah, her solo issue is. I think I bought like I paid like $22 for her novel with all her issues in it for that whole story. Dope character. She's so Alana. So Alana.
Support your local comic book stores. It's not that expensive.
Yes,
let's keep these lines and these storylines going. G, AK, I'm gonna bring it back. G20, let them know.
Oh, yo, so this week, what my recommendation actually is I don't know if y'all caught this yet, but on Netflix, it is a Showtime original, but they just dropped it on Netflix. But y'all got to check out Your Honor. I don't know if y'all saw this or not, but I'm gonna just let y'all know like the whole concept of the show. So Bryan Cranston, aka Heisenberg, Mr. Breaking Bad.
No, you did it
AKA,
wrong. What's my name?
Oh, the one who knocks. I do apologize.
Thank you.
So Bryan Cranston stars in this show as a judge in a small town, and I think it's in New Orleans or a small like suburb of New Orleans. See, look, Aiden, he already gave it the stamp of approval. Aiden even says Your Honor is great, very underappreciated Bryan Cranston show. Like, this is probably one of his best performances. Like, not gonna hold you up. But anyway, he's a judge in a small town where he is dealing with his son, who, yes, baby, there's a Pop-Tart on the table for you. He's dealing with his son who had a car accident and killed someone. His initial response is, all right, I'm a judge. I know people. We can beat this case. It was an accident. Despite the fact you ran from the scene, your dad's a judge. We got this. So they go to the police department, and who do they see there? The town mafia head mourning his son who just died in a hit and run car accident.
2 minutes.
So from that point, he is trying his best to cover up the fact that his son killed the mafia crime boss's son. And shit gets crazy. It's really fucking good. Like, I'm talking about character development, world building, like anything that you could want in a show is in the show. Like, you will not waste your time. It'll grab you within the first 2 episodes. I guarantee you. Do it. Do it. Also, I think Netflix is like trying to revive it for a season 3. So please watch the fucking show. Like, please.
Netflix be doing so this shit. Be coming and go for that. When they did that shit with Lucifer, when they said that shit
did with Dexter too, didn't they?
Yeah, they brought Dexter back.
Did they do it with Dexter?
I think so.
Back 1 season.
Well, no, I think Showtime continued Dexter. Who did that?
But yeah, do it. Your Honor.
For me, my recommendation is get out of your own fucking way, and it's okay to fucking work with people. It's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
Can you add on to that? It's okay to run your own race.
It's perfectly fine to run your own fucking race. It's not about who does it first. To me, it's about who does it the best. And you have to take your time to do it. That's what cursed me so long for getting me to get into tech, because I have so many ideas that I want to be the first one to do it. But then after watching my favorite software developer saying it's not about being the first. There's plenty of people that had this idea first, but I'm going to be the one that does it the best. And so I'm taking my time and curating. And that comes from the help of people that I have worked with and had the privilege of building a network with Charlie, with Ian, with Otis, with the Anime Academic. We come together and find ways to help each other and encourage each other to keep moving forward, or throw ideas like, hey, you should try this. it helps us become better individuals. I won't say that. Stay out of your way, work together, build a community, and go forth. Stop being an opportunist and help create the opportunity for not only yourself, but for others. Because I will not give any type of advice on how to help you if you're an opportunist. There's always competition. I'm always trying to be better than my guys around me, but I'm not going to do it at the detriment of them failing. Because there's enough out there for everyone to eat. I swear, trust me, there is. I have looked at the statistics of this country, of the people of the families and races who are the most successful. If we sit down and come together and work together, there's plenty of fucking opportunity and money to be earned, peace to be gotten, and games to be beaten in this particular realm. So I will not dwell on that. I appreciate everyone that I've worked with. I appreciate everyone that I'm working with concurrently right now. And I wish everyone a successful end to their journeys.
Perry, I'm gonna let you finish. But you have not talked about yourself enough. Go.
I haven't talked about myself enough. Say less, because then I won't hold back.
Hello?
So for me,
oh my God.
I don't claim anything. I am not held as anything. I walk away from the leadership role because I don't like the spotlight. But I have a characteristic of charisma that forced me into the leadership role. I've walked away from my throne for too long.
Oh man,
I didn't choose this shit. This shit chose me.
Exactly.
Right.
The
you
throne
didn't land on Plymouth Rock landed on you.
Exactly. When I went back home to Indiana, I was pulled in so many different type of directions where people say, "Hey, bro, you got to come here." And the love that I gotten was not because I was some big dog doing all this shit. No, I put the time in with the people around me and made sure they were loved. So when I came to return, Faisal gave me a shout out and he thought I left. Because I connect him to my boy Terry. You know what I'm saying? A king does not anoint himself. The people anoint the king.
Yes.
So I'm going to let that marinate for very few people to dwell on that. And I ain't going to say no more.
Okay. You could have talked about yourself a little bit more.
No, that right there was that was my Jay-Z moment.
That was the mic drop.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, regardless of what you feel, that's the show, man. So heads up moving forward. This is kind of going to be the format. We're going to try to keep news to one half of the show, and the other half of the show we're just going to shoot the shit about a random topic. Kind of help you guys to want to come back to this stuff and not have to just watch what is happening when it's happening. Just kind of give you guys some more value and more reason to come back to this show week after week. So now this episode is relevant next year because casuals versus hardcore is always going to be a topic. But with that, you know, I just want to give a special shout out to everybody here. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world on this Sunday, but y'all was here with us, and that means the world to us. So with that being said, Ziana, T-Will the Don, Dominating Impost, Ian, Academic Academic, and anyone who was watching behind the scenes and did not drop a chat, you deserve the heartiest.
Gang. Y'all have a great rest of your Sunday, and we will see you later on this week. Bye.
I gotta pee.
Hasta la bye-bye.